Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 9th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunshine this morning, clouds this afternoon, high 33. Tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 31. And then Wednesday, we'll have clouds in the morning, some rain in the afternoon, high 42. But if you're walking out the door with us right now, you're going to notice right away, it is cold. 16 and clear in Pearl River up in Rockland County, 17 and clear in Raritan over in New Jersey, and it's 18 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Bruce Blakeman jumping into the race for governor today. Is there one man who can tell us where a missing Rutgers student is? Voters react to Mayor-elect Mamdani's decision to move into Gracie Mansion. A Long Island woman wants to know why she's being filmed while she works out at the gym. And wait, was that really a horse that was galloping at JFK? All right, let's get into it at 5:01. No surprise here. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman going to enter the race for governor later this morning. The formal announcement's going to take place. He's been on with Sid and Friends in the morning a number of times over the last couple weeks, teasing this whole thing that he was trying to make a decision.
We're meeting with people. We're talking to business leaders, political leaders, community leaders, and it's been very encouraging. I'm going to weigh what they have to say. Then I'll sit down with my advisors and my family, and I'll make a decision probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, so that was 2 or 3 weeks ago. He will challenge Congresswoman Elise Stefanik in a primary that state Republicans didn't necessarily want to happen. They're both, of course, hoping to unseat Governor Hochul come next November.
Basically, the president has always talked about how competition is good. And I have said to the Republican Party, we shouldn't have a coronation. We should see who's the best candidate to win, who's the best candidate to beat Kathy Hochul. And right now, people are telling me that I am.
Okay, so Elise Stefanik, of course, the upstate Congresswoman, Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County Executive. Does President Trump have a favorite in the race? He was asked about this last night.
About it, but he's great and she's great. They're both great people. We have a lot of great people at the Republican Party.
Yes, so he would not pick one, at least not yet. And then you have Governor Hochul, who says she welcomes this race. She calls both of these candidates MAGA inspired. She says this is all very entertaining for her. She spoke about this a number of times when it became clear that Bruce Blakeman was going to jump in.
It doesn't matter how many Trump cheerleaders decide to run against me. I'm told the Republican Party wants to make sure they have identified the most mega Republican who will serve Donald Trump. I look forward to having a very robust debate about who I'm fighting for. It is not Donald Trump. It's for the people of New York.
Okay, so this race awfully going to get more interesting when Bruce Blakeman makes this official announcement that he's jumping into the GOP primary for governor starting next year. That announcement expected to come a little bit later this morning. Accused CEO killer Luigi Mangioni's pretrial hearing going to enter its 5th day of testimony. Lower Manhattan courtroom today. Yesterday, Mangioni's defense lawyers claimed police in Pennsylvania made up a story about a possible bomb as a reason to search Mangioni's backpack when he was inside that McDonald's where he was found. That backpack search during Mangioni's arrest a year ago is the centerpiece of the ongoing evidence suppression pretrial hearing. Police say they found Mangione's manifesto and the alleged weapon used to murder United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson inside the bag. Now, Mangione's team wants the gun and all the evidence found in the backpack excluded from the upcoming murder trial, saying authorities did not have the legal right to go through that backpack. 504, New York Archdiocese setting aside now hundreds of millions of dollars for sex abuse victims.
Cardinal Timothy Dolan released a statement Monday saying the Archdiocese was setting up a $300 million fund that would compensate people who have sued the church over sexual abuse allegations. Dolan says the church plans to sell off assets and trim its budget to raise the money needed for the fund. The hope is that the fund will cover almost all of the nearly 1,300 outstanding sexual abuse claims against the church. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
New Yorkers getting used to this new idea of the F and the M subway swap that will take place every Monday to Friday. It began yesterday, and they're doing this to help with congestion overcrowding on the subways. So they started it yesterday, and people sort of have to figure their way around. Wait a minute, the F switch with the M with the F. And of course, people don't really pay attention to the last possible moment. And then there was problems, signal problems, other stuff with the subway line itself. So it was a little bit of a mess on the first day.
We're already used to it. You're already used to what trains you're going to be on already. And now you got to figure out another route.
Yeah, so this is a big deal. Even if you're somebody who doesn't ride the subway or the F and the M for that matter, about 1 million people do. And so a lot of people were trying to figure out exactly what was going on yesterday when they went down below to get on to their commute into the city.
It seems to be running very similarly to the F.
Yeah.
We just hope that the frequency is good enough.
Okay, there were problems yesterday, but again, it had more to do with the trains and the rail tracks themselves. Hopefully it'll be a better commute for those people on the F&M this morning. A 20-year-old man is now surrendered to cops in Buffalo following last month's shooting of Jets cornerback Chris Boyd here in the city.
The shooting happened outside a Manhattan restaurant back on November 16th, and cops have been hunting for a suspect since then. The person caught on surveillance video shooting cornerback Chris Boyd in the abdomen. NYPD cops say Boyd and a couple of teammates were reportedly being teased by another group over their stylish clothing at a Midtown hotspot, but it escalated into a brawl that ended with 2 shots fired. Boyd hospitalized in serious condition at the time, and just last week, the 29-year-old was able to pay a visit to the Jets facility in New Jersey, surprising teammates and coaches. James Flippin for 77 WABC News.
Former longtime New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, who's behind bars serving an 11-year term for bribery, now going to be banned from ever holding public office in the Garden State again. That's assuming that he'd run when he got out of jail.
New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin made the announcement as Menendez remains behind bars, serving an 11-year prison sentence for accepting bribes. The Democrat was found guilty last year of 16 counts of bribery, extortion, and other charges. In making the announcement, Platkin added that too many people in New Jersey have a cynical viewpoint that corruption is a routine, widespread feature of our politics. I'm Larry Kofsky.
WABC News Time 5:08. President Trump says he has no problem at all releasing the full video of the so-called double tap strike on a suspected drug boat from Venezuela. The president says whatever Secretary of War Pete Hegseth wants to do with regards to that video is okay with him.
So every boat we knock out of the water, every boat, we save 25,000 American lives. That was a boat loaded up with drugs. I saw the video. They were trying to turn the boat back to where it could float.
The controversy began after the Washington Post claimed Hegseth ordered a second strike on the boat so there were no survivors. Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley showed the strike video to lawmakers and said there were no orders from Hegseth to kill all the survivors of the first strike.
Mr. President, you said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
You said that you would have no problem releasing the full bit. Okay, well, Secretary Hegseth...
Whatever Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
Okay, so now we'll soon find out whether we'll see that video. 5:10 while we're down at the White House. The president pushing Democrats to join Republicans and address rising health care costs.
What I'm going to do is, if the Democrats go along with it, I want the money to be paid to the people to go out and buy their own health care.
Republicans in Congress have been struggling to secure bipartisan legislation that would head off the Affordable Care Act subsidy set to expire at the end of this year. About 22 million Americans will see a spike in premium costs if that does happen.
I want the people to get the money and go out and buy their own health care. And everybody wants that. They're taking in trillions of dollars. I don't want to pay the insurance companies anything. And I know a lot of them. But they're owned by the Democrats.
The president says he wants to fix a system instead of extending those ACA subsidies once again. 5:11, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem handing out more than $10,000 bonus checks to TSA officers who did exemplary work during the government shutdown. So she was yesterday at Tampa International Airport.
For individuals who continued to show up, fulfilled their shifts, but also did other things to help through the shutdown that helped the entire team to be successful.
Yeah, $10,000 before Christmas. That's a good thing. She says these officers were nominated by their leadership team. Others, she said, will get similar news over the coming days and weeks.
Despite those shameful partisan games, our TSA employees showed up every single day and went above and beyond to serve the American people.
Yeah, she was crediting these workers yesterday, and officers too, for screening more than 3 million passengers on the busiest travel day in history this past Thanksgiving holiday. 5:11, let's go overseas. Ukrainian President Zelensky, he was in London yesterday for talks with European officials.
Leaders from France, Germany, and the UK in a last-ditch effort to strengthen Ukraine's hand going into these tricky negotiations. Now, over the weekend, we did hear from the American president, President Trump, speaking to reporters. He said, I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal.
That's correspondent Molly Hunter.
Over the weekend, there were major Russian strikes on key Ukrainian infrastructure, including nuclear power plants and train stations. This comes as the U.S. ramps up pressure on Ukraine to get a deal done. And actually, Ukrainian President Zelensky is here in town in London today, meeting with his European counterparts. But he did say there were two main sticking points in these negotiations as it stands right now, outstanding issues, including the fate of that key Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, as well as territory that Ukraine may have to give up.
So the U.S. envoy Keith Kellogg, he is in Europe trying to get this deal done to end the war in Ukraine. He claims it is close.
Zelensky says that he needs all the information to hear everything about what was said between Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner when they met with Putin last week. But he had spoken with Steve Witkoff and the Trump son-in-law over the weekend, and he called that a constructive conversation, though not an easy one.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. 5:13. Let's go back down to the White House, where the president yesterday unveiling his $12 billion farm aid package.
This relief will provide much-needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops. And it'll help them continue their efforts to lower food prices for American families.
This was during a roundtable at the White House yesterday. The president insisting the money was not in response to farmers being hit really hard by his tariff policies, but rather he says it's due to the Biden administration's bad policies.
We inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, and we're taking care of it. Farmers are an indispensable national asset, part of the backbone of America.
American farmers have lost billions this year in soybean sales after China started going to South American suppliers as some of those trade talks were stalled. 5:14, criminals who violently attack cops would be eligible for the death penalty under this plan that's being pushed by a group of Republican senators.
This hopefully provides some deterrence and demonstrates our respect for law enforcement.
The Back the Blue Act by Texas Senator John Cornyn and others, it would expand self-defense rights for police officers. They would be given the ability to carry their firearms into things like federal facilities, other areas where gun possession is typically restricted.
It's a common sense enhancement of the current law. Law enforcement overwhelmingly supports it. I can't think of a single instance said, no, don't do this.
Yeah, so it does have the backing of just about every single police union. 5:14, NASA's Johnny Kim and 2 cosmonauts back on their way to Earth. Kim and 2 crewmates from the Russian Space Agency, they undocked from the International Space Station last night.
Undocking confirmed at 7:41 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time.
The 3 spent 245 days, yikes, aboard the International Space Station.
Expedition 73 in the history books. Expedition 74 now officially underway.
Now, they were scheduled to touch down in Kazakhstan just after midnight this morning. 5:15, I guess normally it's sports time, but nobody seems to be able to know where Justin Ellick is. Is he MIA, and is that what's going on? All right, so I'm going to give Rhonda Moss apparently wants to become the sports person here if Justin's not here today, so we're going to give her a try. Here is a recorded sports report. We'll give her a shot. Why not, right? Okay, so this is what happens when you don't show up, right? Other people show up, do the job. No, I'm just teasing, Justin. Here is Rhonda Moss with a sports update.
Monday Night Football. Chargers beat the Eagles 22-19 in overtime. Justin Herbert playing just 1 week after undergoing left-hand surgery. Rushed for a team-high 66 yards. Threw for 139, a touchdown, a pick. Also sacked 7 times, while Eagles QB Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers, including 2 on the same play in the second quarter. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh couldn't say enough about the play of his quarterback.
He's a superhero. He is a competitive maniac. I mean, he was even stiff-arming guys, with a broken hand. He had surgery a week ago.
Colts already lost Daniel Jones for the season. Now backup QB Riley Leonard dealing with a knee problem. So the team, according to reports, set to work out 44-year-old veteran QB Phillip Rivers. Baseball winter meetings continue in Orlando. Free agent first baseman Pete Alonso reportedly in Orlando, set to meet with the Red Sox and Orioles. That's sports. I'm Rhonda Moss.
No, not bad, Rhonda Moss. WABC News Time 5:18. San Diego celebrating the USS Nimitz as the aircraft carrier completes its final deployment after 50 years of service.
The Navy's oldest active aircraft carrier spent 9 months patrolling the Indo-Pacific and Middle East, including a tense stint in the Arabian Sea. It's in San Diego before heading home to Bremerton, Washington on December 16th. After this homecoming, the Nimitz will begin a years-long decommissioning process in Norfolk next spring, marking the end of an era for a ship that's been part of everything from the Iran hostage crisis to Operation Iraqi Freedom. I'm John Fink.
The Supreme Court going to weigh whether President Trump can fire members of an independent agency.
The High Court heard arguments on the matter Monday. It's related to Trump's firing of Rebecca Kelly Slaughter, a member of the Federal Trade Commission. Federal law allows for firings like this only in cases of inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance in office. The High Court will decide whether a 1935 ruling that upheld those restrictions should be overturned. Slaughter was one of 2 Democratic commissioners fired by Trump earlier this year. I'm Mark Mayfield.
519 progressive candidates all over the country seeing what's going on in certain places where progressives have done well, like right here in New York City. So Denver State Senator Julie Gonzalez says she's going to challenge incumbent Senator John Hickenlooper in next June's Democratic primary. She says Hickenlooper is too entrenched to understand the needs of people in Colorado. That's why she's getting in the race.
This campaign is really at its core about power and control. Who has it? And who doesn't, and what happens when we take it back for working people here in Colorado.
Now, Gonzalez says Hickenlooper should be punished for supporting 10 of President Trump's 22 cabinet nominees, something Gonzalez says is inexcusable.
There is a frustration from the party leadership trying to control primaries from the top instead of getting the voters the option between 2 different candidates. We have a politics that works really well for billionaires and the tech bros, but it doesn't work for us.
Yeah, these Democratic Socialists are really emboldened, of course, by the election of Mayor-elect Mamdani across the river, James Solomon in Jersey City, and some other candidates across the country. Police all over the country warning that there are these scammers out it seems like there's a new one every day. This one is where they call families of people who've been recently arrested and are impersonating deputies, sergeants, or pretrial specialists asking for money to keep their kids, their loved ones, out of jail again.
Arrest info is pretty public, and it's public right away, pretty much, hours after an arrest. So, yeah, anyone can really get on and find that information, and, everything is just one Google or internet search away.
Yeah, so these crooks try to pressure the victims into sending money electronically for bail, bond, ankle monitors. Law enforcement agents, of course, or agencies would never ask for money over the phone. In this case, they're asking for like Zelle, Cash App, wire transfers, gift cards. Whenever you hear any of that, it's a scam.
And they're using the urgency of a situation to pressure the victim and get them into believing that they have to immediately send money electronically and claiming it's for bail or bond or an ankle monitor. Warn your family members or caregivers. Because a lot of the times the scammers will call you, and then if you don't answer or you don't go along with it, they'll just reach out to another family contact.
Yeah, and so unfortunately it's worked numerous times. Over the weekend, someone claiming to be from my bank texted me. I mean, this one was unbelievable. And I knew, thankfully, pretty much right away it was a scam. But they told me, they were able to tell me how much money was in my account. My last 3 transactions, I had not given them any of that information. And they said they were calling that somebody was impersonating me at a bank. Now, right away, I knew something was up, and then I got my bank on the phone on another phone, and sure enough, it was a scam. But boy, they were good. These guys are good, too, and unfortunately, they've been able to get a lot of money out of people in desperate situations. 522, at least one In-N-Out burger store has apparently dropped the number 67 from its order system.
Orders now go from 66 to 68, skipping 67. That's what an employee is seen telling a teenage customer in a video that went viral on Sunday. The employee tells the customer it's because of people like you. In-N-Out has yet to confirm if this was a company-wide decision or just at that store. It comes amid the popularity of the viral 6-7 meme, which has no clear origin. Videos posted to social media have shown large crowds of teens erupting in cheers when the order number 67 is announced at In-N-Out locations. I'm Daniel Martindale.
That's very funny. 523, late Dodgers pitching legend Fernando Valenzuela will not be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
The 16-member contemporary baseball-era committee voted over the weekend. Valenzuela received fewer than 5 votes. The committee consists of 7 Hall of Famers, 6 baseball executives, and 3 veteran media members or historians. Because he received fewer than 5 votes, Valenzuela isn't eligible for consideration by the committee when it meets next in 2028. That means the soonest he'll get a shot at the Hall of Fame is 2031 at the earliest. Former Dodgers second baseman Jeff Kent was elected to the Hall of Fame. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Boy, you cannot say enough good things about first responders, and that includes lifeguards, people like that. The story out of San Diego we're just hearing about is crazy. This couple thanking lifeguards from the San Diego Fire Rescue for saving their dog Sadie, who was swept nearly a mile out to sea in a rip current off the coast of Ocean Beach. One of Sadie's owners thanking the San Diego lifeguards who went in to save their dog.
We are forever grateful and thankful for all of your guys' help.
Yeah, so the dog had ran out of the couple's vacation rental during a football game and was swept 3/4 of a mile out into the ocean. In the video that was released, you can see these 2 lifeguards, Garrett Smearden and Jack Aldridge, going in to save this dog. Sadie recovered and is doing okay. I mean, there was a little touch and go with the dog surviving, but the dog's going to be fine.
Dispatch, the dog's been reunited with the owner at the reception dock, and all units are clear.
Yeah, so the lifeguards say, just a day at work.
We kind of huddled up and said that, there's a good chance that Sadie was still alive. Just a 5-year-old lab, and they're fighters.
They're water dogs. Yes, they said they were going to go in to save this dog no matter what. One of Sadie's owners describing the moment the dog was brought back to her.
Right when they were going to call it off, because it had been an hour, we literally were standing right there with the guy, and he got a call on the walkie-talkie saying that they had found the dog, and we kind of just held our breath, and they were like, and the dog is alive. And we kind of just started crying going right away.
Yeah, you got to love those first responders. They never give up. 525, a poll by the American Psychiatric Association shows 41% of U.S. adults expect to feel more stressed this holiday season than last year. Clinical psychologist Carrie Ditzel says in order to help your mental health during the holiday season, you may have to say no to certain things.
Take a minute to think about what you really want to do. What is worth changing your routine for? Which party, which person is going to bring you joy and it's worth the stress or the disruption.
And the poll also shows nearly half of adults say they're worried about missing someone or grief itself during the holiday.
Be a little more pick and choosing of what you're participating in or what you're giving to or who you're buying for. Weigh how much benefit it's going to give you. You might find the holidays are joyful again.
It is amazing. People get really stressed out that they're worried they're going to find the right gift for a loved one. She says that's what a lot was going on here. Today is the day people start reaching out with letters and cards for the holiday season.
It's a day to gather a stack of cards, maybe a family photo, and a roll of stamps to send holiday cheer to about 50 people on your list. It's a dying form. Back in the 80s, about 75% of us sent holiday cards. American Greetings says this year, only about 40% of us will do it. And do check that list twice for worthiness, as the cost of a card, photo, and postage will set you back at least $2.50 per card. I'm Bree Tennis.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 9th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunshine this morning. You're going to notice right away it's really cold out. Clouds this afternoon. The high's going to reach 33, but it's not going to feel like that. Tonight and overnight, cloudy, low 31, and then Wednesday, clouds in the morning, rain in the afternoon, definitely warmer, high 42. But if you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are, it is 16 and clear in Pearl River up in Rockland County, 17 and clear in Raritan over in New Jersey, and it's 18 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:38. Flu season is kicked in big time. We knew this was going to happen, that the numbers would spike just as Thanksgiving ended. Everybody went and had meals with their loved ones, with their family, got each other sick. So the week ending November 29th, the state's health department confirmed a total of 14,000 flu cases here in New York. And you say, well, that's not a lot. But the truth is, people don't normally go to the doctor when they have the flu, and they don't normally get tested. So the thought is that it's much worse than that. And it's an 80% increase just from the previous week. So that means, well, a lot of people are sick, and doctors are warning you, not too late to get the flu shot.
The numbers that we see rising astronomically probably don't really reflect the true numbers because most people aren't getting tested.
Yeah, so of course the issue is you just feel terrible. And, for some people, that's worse than others.
Immediately, you're just going to get hit with a very high fever, and you're going to feel terrible general body aches and very low energy.
Now, what is interesting now, while the flu cases have risen over the last couple weeks, COVID cases have actually gone down. But this most common strain is this type A and a growing subvariant subclade K, which one of those was not involved in the flu vaccine. It's not part of the vaccine, so you're not covered for that. But you're covered for everything else that's going around. And that's why doctors are saying it's just not too late to get the shot.
If you're someone at very high risk, I would just wear a mask. And I understand that everyone has mask fatigue. I know I certainly do. But if you're someone who's going to be at risk, it would be much better for you to just put a mask on in a place where you're going to be high risk.
Yeah, so doctors warn, okay, the first one was Thanksgiving, where you were breathing in on everybody. The second time, of course, will be this upcoming holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, that kind of thing, where everybody will get together. And that's where they're suggesting if you are of high risk or older, get the shot and maybe wear a mask if you're with others. 5:40, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani said yesterday he's going to move into the official residence at Gracie Mansion after he takes the oath of office on January 1st. Now, a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, aren't you the socialist guy? What are you doing moving into a mansion? But he says that security, the NYPD, has warned them that that's the best way to keep him safe. He's had some death threats when he was on the campaign trail. So he'll leave that apartment in Astoria that he shared with his wife and will move into Gracie Mansion. Now, people in Astoria who are used to seeing the mayor-elect in their local coffee shops say they're upset that he's going to Gracie Mansion.
It's a little bit sad, right? Because he's been such a big Astoria fixture.
Yeah, they're going to be calling him a hypocrite and stuff. I can see that happening.
Yes, so the mayor-elect says those safety concerns, a shorter commute to City Hall, all the reasons he's going to move into the mansion, Gracie Mansion.
But for his safety, I don't see a problem with that happening.
Now, you'll remember, this was back in June. Mamdani, while he was on the campaign trail, said that he was getting death threats. It was really one of the few times he talked about it, but here's what it sounded like.
I get messages that say the only good Muslim is a dead Muslim. I get threats on my life.
And police were worried about those threats. The couple has lived in this rent-stabilized apartment, which stoked some controversy during Mamdani's mayoral campaign because Mamdani is from a wealthy family. His salary was much higher than those people who normally live in subsidized housing. But here we go. He's moving into Gracie Mansion.
It makes sense that he's moving to where all the mayors live historically, but I don't doubt where his loyalties lie.
Yeah, so Mamdani is set to be inaugurated, of course, 12:01 a.m. on January 1st. It's not exactly clear when he'll move into Gracie Mansion. 542, a man in Bed-Stuy talking about the fact that he was scared for his life as he was attacked in his own home. Ranique Williams says two people broke into his apartment with a gun and a 10-inch knife. He had just returned home from church. He said he did not recognize either of these two individuals who just attacked him outright.
They just kick off my door, and I seen the gun, and I just start wrestling with them. And that's when I seen the knife. Just poking me up. This is the first time I've been through something like this.
Yes, so he's not sure how they got into his home. This was about 8:30 at night. His apartment's right at the corner of McDougal and Saratoga Avenue in Bed-Stuy. The 41-year-old says he was stabbed 3 times in the stomach and the hand. But the amazing part is he was able to fight back. He says he picked up a chair and just started waving it at these two individuals. And he says that's for sure is the reason he's still around today.
I grabbed a chair to protect myself. And that's how my life got saved. If you're out there and you hear this, just please surrender.
Yeah, so Williams says he did not recognize his attackers. I should point out they were wearing face masks. They were all dressed in black. As of last night, it's not known what the motive was behind this. And Williams says, I don't know anybody that was upset or angry with me. I have no idea who they could be. 544, let's go out to New Jersey, where an investigation is underway after a woman was found dead during a welfare check over the weekend. Police were called to this home on Redwood Court in South Brunswick because nobody had heard from the 47-year-old woman inside. Officers found Veronica Jones inside this home unresponsive. First responders pronounced the victim dead at the scene. As of yesterday afternoon, police say the woman's death is suspicious. And what sources are saying was that her body was found bound with tape, and she may have been dead for several days. A neighbor of the victims says Jones had lived in the neighborhood for over a decade, but that she had kept to herself. But people said she was nice when she did talk to them, but they didn't know a whole lot about her.
We didn't see her for a while, actually. Anyways, so I'm so sad, to hear this.
Yeah, and of course, people frightened now. They want to know what exactly happened to her and if they should be worried. A medical examiner going to now determine her cause of death. While we're in New Jersey, a family trip ended in tragedy on the Turnpike over the weekend. Getting more details about this crash that took place in East Windsor, and we now know who the victims are. Ellen and Kwasi Waith. They're from Bloomfield, New Jersey. One of their 2 teenage daughters was also killed in this crash. They were on their way back home from a family gathering in Maryland on Sunday afternoon when they had pulled over onto the right shoulder. It's not 100% clear why, but a tractor trailer unfortunately veered into the shoulder right there in East Windsor and hit the car. So the mom, the dad, one of the daughters was killed. One of the girls was rushed to the hospital. She is expected to survive. Some of Eileen's co-workers, she worked at the East Orange Children's Nutritional Program. They were speaking out about her yesterday.
Eileen was a leader in the office. She was very outgoing. She knew what she wanted to do, and she was very nice and pleasant.
The truck driver, we now know who that is, identified as 34-year-old Dimitri Kara from Philadelphia, stayed at the scene, suffered minor injuries. Not clear if he'll be charged.
It is very hard and sad for us and the staff.
Yeah, I bet. The crash remains under investigation this morning. In a moment, we'll give you the latest on this missing Rutgers student. There are some more details and some thoughts about where he might be. But first, let's do some sports at 5:46 on this Tuesday morning. Here's Rhonda Moss.
Monday Night Football. Chargers beat the Eagles 22-19 in overtime. Justin Herbert playing just 1 week after undergoing left hand surgery, rushed for a team-high 66 yards, threw for 139, a touchdown, a pick. Also sacked 7 times, while Eagles QB Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers, including 2 on the same play in the second quarter. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh couldn't say enough about the play of his quarterback.
He's a superhero. He is a competitive maniac. I mean, he was even stiff-arming guys, with a broken hand. I mean, he had surgery a week ago.
Colts already lost Daniel Jones for the season. Now backup QB Riley Leonard dealing with a knee problem. So the team, according to reports, set to work out 44-year-old veteran QB Phillip Rivers. Baseball winter meetings continue in Orlando. Free agent first baseman Pete Alonso reportedly in Orlando, set to meet with the Red Sox and Orioles. That's sports. I'm Rhonda Moss.
WABC News Time 5:49. Let's go over to New Jersey. The last person to see Rutgers student Morty Wortman before he disappeared now 18 days ago was at the Ocean County Courthouse yesterday for a hearing, but Adam Zalock's appearance was not related to Wortman's disappearance. Zalock was scheduled to stand before a judge and answer to charges that back in July he threatened Wortman with a knife and rammed the rear of Wortman's car and vandalized it. Now, the relatives of Morty Wortman say they think Adam Zalock knows exactly where their brother is, and they want him to talk and tell about everything he knows. The student went missing back on November 21st. His car was found in a parking lot in Jackson Township, but they know nothing more about him at all since then.
Absolutely, 100%. We are all convinced that he has something to do with it. Our family wants an arrest. We want him to be arrested, and this is another day he's walking away free.
Praying that we find something. There's nothing out there that says Kai was out there. Nothing.
Yeah, and they say Morty is not the kind of guy who would just walk off. Wortman's mother, Joanna Reyes, she's been in the woods every day looking for her son because the car was found near this wooded area, but there's been no sign of him.
They're taking Adam's word, the defendant's word, which is just throwing me off so much because Adam has the most motive of anyone to do something.
I think that Adam's lying and he's free. And there's something wrong with that.
Now, Adam Zalock did not speak with the media nor the Wortman family before or after leaving the Ocean County Courthouse yesterday. And while we're talking about someone missing, there's this terrible story out of Brooklyn where a family has spent over a week desperately going back and forth between Brooklyn and Queens looking for any sign of their missing 15-year-old son, Japhet Jemet, but his friends call him Elijah. He's a student at Midwood High. He's been missing from his home in the Rockaways. His father says the last confirmed location for him was 6 a.m. Friday, November 28th. He was seen getting on a bus, but since then, no sign of him. And his father is just beside himself because he had some sort of argument with his son. That was the last conversation he had with him.
The last, conversation we had was me arguing with him. I mean, I don't even want to think about it. We have no idea where he was going because you don't usually take the 52. My theory is that maybe he was speaking to someone online. They probably convinced him to leave the house that day, and he left.
Yeah, the family says workers at the YMCA near their home saw someone matching his description, looking they were about to get on the Q52 bus, but that's where this all goes cold. His phone's last location was over the Cross Bay Bridge. And a father again saying, listen, if there's anything you're upset about with me, it's okay. Just come home. We'll work it all out.
Whatever argument I had with him, if he felt bad or about it or anything, I want to ask him to forgive me for that. And I really want to tell him that I love him.
Yeah, but still no sign of that 15-year-old. 5:53 out to Long Island, Medford, Long Island, where a woman says she was deceptively recorded while working out at a Planet Fitness there. And she only discovered it when the video surfaced online without her permission. This is just so creepy. So Claire, she's speaking to News 12. She filed a complaint immediately after the incident at the Planet Fitness last Thursday. She says she was running on the treadmill when a man came up to her wearing those Meta smart glasses that, can videotape anything, and tried to start a conversation with her. And she thought it was a little strange, but she didn't realize that he was filming her the entire time. So hours later, she then said she saw a video of herself posted online by the user she recognized, someone that she says had always made her feel uncomfortable at the gym. So she said she went to the gym, but there's not a whole lot they can do about it, apparently.
Before I could even start describing him or what happened, the worker immediately stopped me and he described the man himself because a woman had filed a complaint about him shortly before I left the gym.
Okay, so Planet Fitness does have a policy that prohibits members from recording others without permission, so they were able to terminate his membership that alone. But the situation is reigniting this debate over whether what is legally allowed when it comes to filming someone in public spaces like Planet Fitness. She may not have a lot of recourse. At least that's what lawyers are telling her for now, anyway. 5:54, New York City, improving how its agencies communicate with non-English speakers now.
Mayor Adams says all city-owned smartphones, more than 100,000, will receive language apps to better communicate with the public. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says for the first time ever, the NYPD is updating its patrol policy guide to allow officers to use these language applications while on patrol. Meantime, New York City Public Schools plan to roll out what's called the Hello app in 2026, bridging language gaps. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
The New York Archdiocese now setting aside hundreds of millions of dollars for sex abuse victims.
Cardinal Timothy Dolan released a statement Monday saying the Archdiocese was setting up a $300 million fund that would compensate people who have sued the church over sexual abuse allegations. Dolan says the church plans to sell off assets and trim its budget to raise the money needed for the fund. The hope is that the fund will cover almost all of the nearly 1,300 outstanding sexual abuse claims against the church. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
And we'll end with this story. So this is crazy. We only heard about this yesterday, but over the weekend, on Sunday night, we were hearing from people that they saw a horse galloping on the highways near JFK Airport. So video posted on social media shows this stallion running on the exit ramp for the airport, past motels and parking lots. So here's people took video of this horse galloping on the highway and posted it on social media.
The horse on the highway on the highway. There's no way this is real life. There's a horse. There's a horse.
Yeah, so they're not sure exactly what was going on here. The horse had traveled across airport property before running south on the Van Wyck. Here's somebody who called police to say, hey, just want you to know there's a horse galloping around JFK Airport.
I called 911. I told the operator, there's a horse on the Belt Parkway. She was like, there's what? I was like, there's a horse on the Belt Parkway, miss. Yeah. And she was like, there's a horse on the Belt Parkway. I was like, yeah. I was like, can you send someone?
Yeah, I'm sure she thought he was drinking. He was not. Port Authority Police Department safely captured this horse at the entrance of Terminal 1. It took them a while. The animal uninjured, thankfully, and it was returned. Apparently, it had escaped from Curly's Cowboy Center in South Jamaica. Strange story.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. Arrive.